If you turn on the television and look around for a while, you're bound to see a show starring Gordon Ramsay. There's no shortage of Gordon Ramsay shows, from Hell's Kitchen to MasterChef Junior, in all their various spin-offs. However, in an interview, Ramsay revealed that he himself ended one of his shows. Keep watching to find out why he did so. What, according to you, could have been the reason Ramsay ended the show? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more. If you ask most foodies what their favorite Gordon Ramsay series is, you'll probably get one of three responses. While Hell's Kitchen and MasterChef both have legions of fans, Kitchen Nightmares, which aired on Fox until 2014, has some of the most ardent and vocal. Kitchen Nightmares aired in the United States for 7 seasons, after 6 seasons in the United Kingdom. It featured Ramsay going into a failing restaurant, tearing it apart from top to bottom, and then attempting to rebuild it, so the owners had a fighting chance of turning things around. While watching Ramsay's work is always entertaining, it was usually the drama of seeing him deal with owners who were unaware of the true state of their business that made the series work. 9 times out of 10, someone was yelled at and/or fired, and then they would wake up, realize Ramsay was correct, and begin to listen. When it came to restaurant criticism, Gordon Ramsay didn't hold back. You'd be mistaken if you thought he saved his venom for the chefs on Hell's Kitchen. The man could be brutally honest with cooks and owners in order to show them that change was necessary. "I canceled my own Fox show, Kitchen Nightmares," Ramsay explained. That candid criticism eventually led to Ramsay canceling the series, which was still a huge hit when it ended. Ramsay received a lot of criticism for how he treated the restaurants featured on Kitchen Nightmares. Combine that with the fact that many of the restaurants were back in trouble after the cameras and Ramsay left, and he finally gave up and called it quits. "I woke up in the middle of the south of France after filming a week with a British guy I wouldn't trust to run my bath, let alone my restaurant," he told the magazine. Because he was running a ski resort, he felt like he could take advantage of all those customers because there was nowhere else to eat. He was giving me shit for telling him the truth, and I thought, I'm done. But for Fox executives, were not ready to let go of the show, so they devised a workaround: shelve Kitchen Nightmares, wait a few years, and then reboot the concept with a different restaurant-saving show, 24 Hours to Hell and Back, which has been renewed for a 2nd season. I got a phone call from Fox, and the call went like this: "You know, Gordon, before you take your own show down, don't you think we should talk about that together as your partners? We don't mind you resting it, but we'd like to come back with something stronger." He said, "I rested it for 3 years and came back with 24 Hours to Hell and Back. So I'm on my own tough taskmaster, and I put myself through the mill equally as I do with any particular restaurant or challenger competition." After a few years and some thought, Ramsay realized that ending the Kitchen Nightmares was a mistake. It turns out that he decided to end the show in a fit of rage and nothing more, and he now realizes that wasn't the best reason to end the series. "Yes, it was wrong to pull my own show off air, but that's it," he said. In response to criticism that the restaurants featured on the show failed, he claims that this was due to their inability to break bad habits and ignore his advice. Ramsay is confident that if they had listened to him and stuck to the plan he devised, they would have been successful. So will there ever be a Kitchen Nightmares reboot? It appears doubtful. Ramsay has a slew of other projects and appears to have made peace with the series and the reason it ended. But as the saying goes, never say never. When you think of Gordon Ramsay, several words come to mind: strict, loud, intense, rude, and basically every synonym for those 4. The chef, on the other hand, dislikes the word ridiculous. For those of us who have seen him in action, if Chef Ramsay has even the slightest suspicion that you're acting ridiculously, you will hear from him, and you don't want to. As you might expect, even though Ramsay's fiery temper lurks just beneath the surface, it doesn't stop some of them from revealing their true and often unconventional selves to the chef, and the results are exactly what you'd expect. Kitchen Nightmares is a show full of intense moments, but they're interspersed with the ridiculous. We've compiled the most ridiculous moments for you, so you don't have to go searching elsewhere. Gordon Ramsay compared a maitre d' to a rhino on Kitchen Nightmares. It's never nice to be told that your appearance isn't polished. Not surprisingly, that is one of Gordon Ramsay's favorite adjectives. And on one episode of Kitchen Nightmares, the chef brought an employee from one of his own restaurants in New York City to help polish up a maitre d' who appeared to struggle with the concept of fine dining. Ramsay's employee, Jean-Baptiste, began with the maitre d's attire, noting that he wasn't the most fashionable person. Then it was time to assess the physical movement in the dining room. This is where things start to get ridiculous. Chef Ramsay decided to weigh in on this particular criticism, and it wasn't pretty. The chef performed his maitre d' impersonation, which consisted of running back and forth with his head held down and his shoulders slouched forward. Ramsay continued, "Every time I see you, you're running around like a baby rhinoceros." At the very least, he didn't sugarcoat anything. Gordon Ramsay is worn down by this family's bickering. Communication skills are necessary in all aspects of life, but if you don't have them when working in the restaurant industry's non-stop aggressive environment, you're doomed. So when Gordon Ramsay sat down with the Pellegrino family on an episode of Kitchen Nightmares to discuss why their business was struggling, he expected some bickering. But he quickly realized he was in way over his head. During the family debate, Ramsay reiterated his need for the truth and nothing but the truth about the restaurant's operations, and that the sooner he got it, the sooner he could find workable solutions. However, problems arose within seconds of the Pellegrino family gathering. Accusations flew, people started talking over each other, and verbal chaos ensued. Members began to speak up, only to be silenced by the louder screamers, and all Ramsay could do was shake his head, disgusted that the family communication he was dealing with was as cracked as a New York City sidewalk. Just watching Ramsay's expression as he tries to understand what they're saying shows how ridiculous the situation is. Gordon Ramsay set fire to kitchen tools. Saying Gordon Ramsay knows his way around the kitchen is like saying Ernest Hemingway knew his way around a typewriter. He spent years working his way up to the chain of command, and now he's Gordon Ramsay. When the kitchen game face comes on, you better be ready to handle the heat, which sometimes means Ramsay has to step into the frame and destroy some of your utensils to make his point. That's exactly what he did in this Kitchen Nightmares episode. A major issue that many restaurants face is the desire to serve dishes in novel ways, even when the strategy often appears absurd and unnecessary. In the case of one chef who served his salads in plastic funnels, Ramsay let him know how ridiculous the tactic was by turning up the heat and putting an end to it. Ramsay lit the plastic funnels on fire with a creme brulee torch and melted them down to a puddle of sad and depleted plastic. It is sometimes necessary to burn down what was in order to make way for what is. A restaurant owner was arrested on Kitchen Nightmares. Whatever situation you're in, you never want to hear the sound of handcuffs clicking into place because someone, hopefully not you, got themselves into legal trouble. However, it does happen, and on one episode of Kitchen Nightmares, Gordon Ramsay actually brought in a police officer to handcuff the restaurant owner. However, the crime committed by the owner was not fraud or theft. It was something no one could have predicted. As Ramsay explained the owner's crime, too much picking up after everyone and allowing his staff to slack off without consequences, an officer entered the establishment and slapped his handcuffs on his wrists. Ramsay described the cuffs as follows: "You're not touching anything tonight. You're going to tell them exactly what you want them to do. Run your business vocally." Naturally, the owner was relieved when he realized the cuffs were all a ruse to teach him an important lesson about leadership, which he hopefully took to heart. Still, you have to admit that the whole thing was a little ridiculous. And that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching. Do you think Kitchen Nightmares will ever be back? Let's know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, then do like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more such exciting content. See you in the next one.